let's get right into it. So I have guys, many of you guys have heard me making sure you know that she will be coming. She's in India. I love that name. I'm saying and pronouncing it right every time. I want to make sure I ain't miss no hyphens or anything like that.
Just like the country.
Okay, gotcha. So guys, before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about her. And I read an article, several articles out there recently, one in the AJC. And let me know, Teresa, before I get into this, if someone comes to the door. Correct, let me go back a little bit. If you haven't been to the studio, like a couple of you guys have not, the restroom is right there. Okay, if you need to go to the restroom, we talked about cell phones. And also, if you want a snack, it is a snacks up front, water, some crackers, and Patman was so nice to bring some bagels, so thank you for that. Okay, so when I read this one particular article in the AJC, what stood out when she was bold enough said, "I want to be seen." And I went back and said, wow, well that's different. I want to be seen. A female saying, I want to be seen, it hit me in a whole different way, especially celebrating Women's Month. So many times our voices are not heard, and we have to demand that we should and want to be seen. It's not being, she didn't come across being arrogant at all. I want to be seen. If you're talented and we all are gifted with something which God gave us, we should demand to be seen, especially women. We should be demanding that. So I'm gonna start that off. She was born running as a child, and she is still running. That's when you know it's a gift from God, because it's just something you have to do, and age does not define when you start or when you end. She was raised in York, Pennsylvania. She's a northerner, so we might have some language barriers since I'm a southern girl. So bear with me. I do say fixing.
I'm trying to perfect an accent, but I don't know which one it is.
Don't do that. Don't do that. But she's been here for a second, so maybe she can get it. So if you hear me say certain words, just work with me. Her talent is naturally gifted running. She took that talent to the Marines. And actually, I did not know this, but Marines have a Marines Corps track and field team in which she was a part of it. She served our country for 6 years. So guys, give it up for her for serving our country. Thank you. She is a mother, she's a grandmother, she's a sister, and she must be likable, right? Because you went hanging with her. Awesome. That speaks.
She actually lives in Florida.
She does? Oh, welcome to Georgia, welcome to Georgia. That speaks volumes. She worked in corporate America, private industry, and the federal government. She moved to the area in 2017, so she's not been here too long. And from that, she developed her love again and put all her energy into track and field, in which she became part of the senior and master's level track and field. From that dedication, waking up every morning, dedicated, thinking about track, eating track, living track. And I found her on Facebook in her essence of living and eating track. And I'm gonna tell you the core story very quickly. Now, see, one thing about Facebook, it sends the people to you who you watch. So I get stuff that's motivational. Them analytics make sense, right? So they send me people who are motivated, talking about some good stuff. And if you have a problem with social media because you say it sends you a lot of junk, make sure you're looking at the right stuff. It only sends you what you're looking at. Yeah. So I would say this. The first thing I said, well, look at hair. Well, look at her hair. I want to be seen. It wasn't as classy as I'll get out, right? I want to be seen. And if you could be so kind, okay. And what I start catching is that every time on a daily basis, she's up on that track. She's talking about track, she's invested in that. And that's what I started following her, because I love what she was doing. Had no clue. The last thing I found out about is her age. Because she didn't give me that. She didn't talk about how her age is. She didn't let the age define her. She was just getting up like any other athlete that would get up and get her workout in. So that's the first thing I appreciated from her. She took all that dedication, and last year she ran the USATF Masters National Indoor Track Meet in New York City at the famous Armory. She broke a record that had stood since 2007 in a 60-meter race. She ran an 8.78 in the age group 60 to 64 category. She also won the 200-meter race at the same time. But she didn't stop there. Repeat after me, she didn't stop there.
Stop there.
2 months later, she showed up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, winning the 50 and 100-minute races in her category. Her time in the 100-meter race broke an American record from 1994. Everybody say 1994.
1994.
Her record-breaking time for the 100 meters was 13.6. She ended her 2022 season also being named the 2022 Athlete of the Year in her age division by the USA Track and Field Masters Track and Field Committee. Everybody say 2002 Athlete of the Year.
2002 Athlete of the Year.
I'm just saying. Let me put things in relative terms. So Rondell, could you mute yourself, please? Thank you. So let me put things in relative terms. So give me a second to set this up, because sometimes if anybody did track and field? Okay, cool. So this is no knock, because you all got y'all love for something, right? Sometimes we underestimate these different seconds. So what I'm gonna show you is a video of Aaliyah Hobbs, who's 27 years old, who broke the record.
I was there.
Yes, okay. She's the elite of the elite. She's the ones who'll be going to the Olympics. I'm putting it in perspective for you. Fortunately, we don't have a video of you breaking your record, but I want you to visually see how fast this can be.
We have it on our phones.
So I want you guys at home, I already sent you guys at home the link. And just give me a second, talk amongst yourselves as I transition.
Joyce pulled you out now.
Yes.
She's good at that.
So guys, I'm gonna show you a quick clip of the record holder, Aaliyah Hobbs, running. She ran a 6.94, 6.92 for this. She's 27 years old. This was recently done. So I just want you to get a perspective that she ran a 6.9492. This young lady here did a 8.78, double her age almost. And then, yes, put it in perspective. So it'll be on this one over here.
Let me say something real quick.
Sure. Go
At
ahead.
that same track meet, they ran masters, men group and women group, age 55 to 64. I was the eldest. I broke that record at that track meet in Albuquerque, the same day that Aaliyah Hobbs broke her record. So my record was 8.78, now it's 8.76.
Yes, tell it. I'm not sure which way this screen will go, but you'll know which way it goes. It's either gonna be that one or that one, right? Either way, let's see what God gives us.
And I have pictures with her too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we both broke American records.
Looks like it's gonna
It's
be
gonna be
a
over there, I
Yeah.
believe, because the volume is there. Yeah.
She will get the draw in lane number 1.
Here is Barnes. She will start in lane 2.
Ran from the University of Southern California, Micaiah Briscoe, one of our featured athletes in that balloon ride that we had the other day. She'll get the draw in lane number 3.
Smith Barnett always has a phenomenal start, and I always say one day she's gonna hang on. She has run 7:11 for a personal best UNLV product.
And out of the LSU sprint machine, Aaliyah Hobbs, fastest woman in the world this year.
She's been undefeated as well. Here's the bronze medalist from last year's World Indoor 60, the fastest 60 ever actually, Mary Beth St. Price. She'll start on the 6.
In lane 7, Taylor Anderson, competed collegiately at at UConn out of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota.
And here's a young woman who actually has a silver medal from the 2019 World Championships, working on her shorter sprinting. In fact, she set a personal best this year back in January, so that bodes well for her pet event, the 200. But the undefeated Aaliyah Hobbs in lane 5 puts her record on the line. She has the world's fastest time at 6:98. The conditions here are ideal. She has to hit the gun and then run all the way through the line if she's going to get under 7 seconds or even set a personal best. The world record is 6:92. I don't know if she'll run quite that fast, but hey, all things are possible with Hobbs and the way she's looked this year.
Hobbs in 5, the women's 16-year final. And Hobbs there in 5. That one to be official. That could be the second fastest time in history, now confirmed at 6:94.
So sometimes you want to put a visual on things. So the difference between is 1.86 between that young lady and this young lady. Okay. So 1.6 is. So track and field is all about small details, and that's why you guys think I'm anal. That's where I came from, the small details. When I'm on you about to move, it's the small details, and that's what's so impressive. 60 meters is one of them meters where you can do very little mistakes. So that's why I'm in awe more about your 60 meters than anything, because you have no room for error because you don't have enough space to correct it. That takes discipline, that takes focus, that takes all that concentration. So when I'm more excited than you guys for her to be here, because it's something about knowing somebody in your presence who has done what you've done. And I just want to thank you for being more than willing when I reached out to you to come. So guys, give it up for India Bridgette.
Hi, ladies. I'm a little nervous, but very grateful to be here. Like she said, my name is India Denise Bridgette. Everybody's putting the middle name out there. Wow, I feel like you gave my whole bio. I don't need to say anything. I am the eldest of 4. I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. My sister is here. I just want to give a shout out to all you ladies. Look amazing. You're very beautiful. You know, all the different hues of us as women. My baby sister is the first Black and the first female tower supervisor at the Orlando International Airport. She is a retired Navy veteran. Served as aircraft controller. We have another sister who was in the Navy for 8 years, 10 years. She's a data computer techie guru person. I'm on the end user side, she's on the other side. She can tell me why I'm messing up. And we have a brother. When asked if he was going in the military, he says, no, my sister did. So, like she said, I grew up in York, Pennsylvania. I am the eldest. I turned 61 in November. I'm gonna be 62 this year. I've always ran track and field. I ran against the boys, teeter ball, softball, hockey sticks, hockey 1, hockey 2, hockey 3. Anybody that's from up north know we got the little boxes and we played hockey, you know. So I've always been athletic. Played football with the boys. In high school, middle school, I ran track, and I actually ran with the high school track team as a middle schooler. Went to high school, continued on running track. Wilma Rudolph has always been my idol. I wanted to go to Tennessee State. I'm from York, Pennsylvania. Nobody looks for nobody from York, Pennsylvania, unless you're with York Barbells or York Peppermint Patties. They since moved there. But I wanted to go where Wilma Rudolph went to school, but nobody heard of me. And they were like, well, who are you? Come here and earn a scholarship. And I would have been a first generation college graduate, and I'm like, what you mean you don't know who I am? I'm big time in that area, you know. But I eventually made a decision. Actually, I went to the Marine Corps on a dare, And it was a good decision. Not all of my experiences were good, but it was a great experience. I continued to run track and field in the Marine Corps. I found out there was an all-Marine track and field team. They have all Navy, all Air Force, all Coast Guard. And we had our big inter-service meet at the Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. And my first year I ran, I won 4 gold medals representing the United States Marine Corps.
Oh, wow.
I won the 100, the 200. I ran on the 4x1 relay, the anchor position, the last position, and I got thrust into the 4x4. I don't mess with the 400. That's one time around the track. When I ran in high school, it was a pace race. Now they run the 400 one time around the track, the same way I run 100. It's all out. So when my coach tells me right before outdoor season, which is coming another month, you're gonna do one track meet and you're just gonna run the 400. And I look at him and be like, come down with something. But I get it because he is my coach and he knows what he's doing. And it's just to open my system up, just to open me up. I do a very well time. I just don't want the commitment to that training at his age. I'm like, no, I will break my body down. He's like, no, you won't. I guess I will. I know my body better than you. But anyway, we go back and forth. When I moved to Georgia, well, let me back up. I continued to run State Games of America, which is a competition. You can run in your prospective states and then you qualify for that to go against the top 3 or top 5 in every state. It's a really great amateur competition. At one point, I was trying to get medals from every state. So I was going around, and after a while the names started getting out there, and ladies were like, are you India? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, I'm like, why did they do that? You know? But I continued to run. When I moved here to Georgia, I met a young man. His name is Kyle Stevenson, and he is now the head coach at Georgia State for the girls track team. He was an assistant coach. And one of the other masters athletes says, you should be running senior games and masters. And I'm like, what's senior games and masters? So they guided me. I ran senior games here in Georgia, which qualified me for the senior Olympics. And it's every 2 years and they travel. The first one I ran was, I moved here June 1st, 2017. The very following June 7th, I was in Alabama running. Still representing Pennsylvania because I have qualified in Pennsylvania. I came in 8th place in my age group in both of my races. I've never come in 8th place. And I said, okay, that's not gonna happen again. I was back and forth before I moved here, you know, romancing and this and that, not training, because I had already qualified, so I figured, oh, I'll go down there, they down the south, they got nothing for me. However, it was the senior Olympics, so they came from California, Arizona, everywhere. Okay, I ate that one. I got a coach, he wasn't able to coach me anymore, he guided me to Kyle. Kyle said, Miss India, what do you wanna do? I said, I wanna train, and I wanna be the best that I can be, wherever that looks like, wherever it takes me. And he says, okay, where have you ran? And I gave him my bio, and he says, okay. He said, you're real passionate about that. I said, I come from a small town where women were not looked at as somebody that had the potential. Like they just, okay, she plays ball, she does this, she does that. Where they would take a male and be like, oh, you got a talent, we gonna help develop you, you know. And I thought I had the talent and somebody should have been developing me. So he says, okay, I told him, I just know there's more in me. I know I can run better, I can run faster. Up until that point, I had no professional training. And this young man trained me for the next 2 years. And I did well. I love him like a son. He is the same age as my oldest child. He just lost his mom, so it's really emotional when I talk about him. He got promoted to the head coach, and he really didn't have the time. So he directed me to another coach. This gentleman, he's on my IG as well, his name is Dexter Martin. Amazing sprint development coach. I've been blessed with people in my life to help me in the different areas I needed. My niece, actually when I first got here, my niece, JM Recovery, she does my stretching and she does dry needling, she does cupping, She helps keep my muscles together, helps me get, remain injury-free. Because when you do the maintenance on your body, it helps you to avoid being injured. And,
I'm sorry. I say that to them all the time. It's just good to hear somebody
when you
else.
do your stretching before your workouts, it assists in helping you remain injury-free. When I work out, I warm up at least 40, 45 minutes before my workout. That's the workout, right? The hips need to be stretched, the arms need to be stretched, the lower back needs to be stretched, the breathing needs to be correct, it's a process. And I didn't embrace that until I actually saw the effects. Another thing that was implemented into my workout last year was weight training. I never did weight training with my running. I had been running on natural speed. Body by Jay, not to use somebody else's, but she was amazing and helped me with my weight training. I now train with another trainer, but the effects of me doing the weight training and taking the suggestions of people who know what they're doing, because it's obvious I didn't, because I didn't even run at this level in high school, is what helped me break the American records. Like my first, I think I was with Jay 4 or 5 months. I ran indoors in New York. I broke an American record. When I ran the 200, I was 4/100ths of a second off of the 200 American record. To give you an idea, the American record was 29.84. I ran 29.88.
Oh, wow.
And literally that was a lean. And I didn't lean, and my coach was like, nobody to lean against. And as she said, 2 months later, I went to the National Senior Games down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I won the 50, and I won the 100. Now, crossing that 100 line, the announcer says, real excited, that's a new American record. I don't know where my brain was. I think it was left at the starting block, but I jumped in the air. I looked like a hurdler. I jumped in the air like this, and when I came down, I broke my foot.
Oh.
That was May of last year. So I was unable to run the 200 in that meet. I was unable to compete in the World Outdoor World Competition in Finland. I went to 2 different doctors, and I'm gonna put this in, because I think it's very important. It plays a major role in our health and our recovery of colds or flu or an injury. Taking care of yourself, it really assists you recovering a lot quicker. Because I eat correctly most of the time. My trainer says you have a cheat meal. I thought he said a cheat day. So for a month, I was taking a whole day, whatever I wanted to do. And he's like, I'm gaining. He's like, what are you eating? What are you eating on your cheat meal? I said, you mean my cheat day? He said, no, your cheat meal. I'm like, no. Everything. We got that under control. I'm not a meat eater, but I have to be creative to get my protein. I can't just eat beans. What's the weight on you? I just can't eat peanut butter. It's sweet. So I have to be creative, but I mix it up. And I'm a big fruit and veggie person. I can't eat too much citrus because it gives me highs. I can't, you gotta find your niche, you gotta find your thing. But when I got back here, my niece, who takes care of me, she took me to an ortho and they x-rayed my foot. And, oh yeah, you need a plate in your foot. We need to do emergency surgery. I'm like, oh, I don't have y'all insurance. I'm a veteran. I use the VA. I take very much advantage of the benefits that are afforded to me. Free. Free is good. Anything free. Even if I don't need it. It's free. Yep, I want it. So I told her, I said, I'm going to the VA. I saw the emergency room doctor. Oh, you need a pin in your foot. Yeah, we're going to do emergency surgery. I'm like, no. I want to see the head of ortho. He wasn't available. I had an appointment the next day. I went back. That gentleman walked in. He says, hey, Miss Bridgette, how you doing? Congratulations on breaking the record in your foot. I said, do I need surgery? He said, are you in any pain? I had no pain. When I broke my foot, I took off my spike and I kept asking for ice. And the EMTs were, oh, we need to check your foot out. I'm like, I need ice. Oh, we need to check. I hobbled over to the bin they have for us so we can sit in and get an ice bath. Ice is great for recovery, ladies. When you're sore, put it in your tub, get some water, take it up to here, put it in your tub, sit in it for 5 minutes. Trust me, you'll feel better the next day. I stuck my foot in that ice, and the doctor says he believes that's what prevented me from needing surgery.
Oh, wow.
And when he looked, he said, I looked at your numbers, I looked at your physical fitness. He said, your break is clean, it's in alignment. You, however, fractured all your toes. And I broke my 5th metatarsal, which is this bone right here that connects you to the ankle. But it was a clean break, and I had no pain. He said, and you have the bone density of a 48-year-old. He said, how on earth did you break your foot? I told him the story. He said, why would you do that? I said, it worked when I was a cheerleader. Run and jump. He said, yeah, but you weren't 60 and a cheerleader. However, he said, because my break was clean and I wasn't in any pain, they were going to cast it. I asked him, what's the difference? Because I want to recover as soon as possible so I can get back out running. He said, well, it's not broken through the skin, it's not a jagged break, and you don't have any pain. They offered me pain medicine like every 15 minutes. Do you want this? Do you want that? And I'm looking at them like, y'all better stop asking me about this pain pills now. I don't take pain pills. I was in no, that's the remarkable thing. I had no pain. I had more discomfort in the healing than I had with the actual break. So he cast my foot and they gave me crutches, and he says, you gotta stay off your foot for 3 weeks. And I said, I live by myself. And he was like, well, do the best you can. So when I drove home with this cast on my foot, don't do that. Disclaimer, don't do that, you can get a ticket. When I got home, the crutches stayed in the garage because I live by myself, and I just learned how to walk and not put the weight on the outside of my foot. I walked on the inside of my foot. That's not good either because I had to readjust my running when I was able to run again. 3 weeks later, I called, I said, I need to see him right away. I made it sound like an emergency. I went in, I was like, take it off, it itches. And he's like, where's your crutches? I said, in the garage where they've been since you gave them to me. He's looking at me, he says, go get an x-ray right away. There's a moral to my story here, ladies. So I go get an x-ray, I go back, he was like, okay, everything's still fine, it's healing, the fractures have healed, the break is healing on the inside, it's still cracked on the outside. I said, so do I need another cast? He was like, no, you're not gonna do right with it anyway, wear this boot. So I wore a boot. He said, I'll see you in 4 to 6 weeks. And I'm looking, I'm like, 4 to 6 weeks, I can't go. So the week before I go to Cancun, I go back to him, I'm like, look, how am I doing? I'm going on vacation, and I said, no, I can't, I was gonna paint the bottom red and put bling on it, but it's ugly. So he says, Miss Bridgette, just wear flats, don't put a lot of pressure on it because it still has a crack. And he says to me, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I do take vitamins, I take multivitamins, and I eat right. And I'm saying all that is because you take the initiative to take care of your body in preparation. Not that you think something's going to happen, but if you're already taking care of your body, that's less of a thing you have to worry about. I think because I do exercise, because I do, not just for competition, but I do work out and I do take care of myself, that injury could have been a whole lot worse. So exercising your muscles, just think when you're, if you go to twist, a lot of people that twist, they get those, what is that? Sciatic nerve or hold a muscle in their back. If you're already working out and you're stretching those muscles, you have less of a chance of injury than the average person that doesn't. And you start from wherever you are, you know. I want to show you guys something. And I have over 100 gold medals. I have 2 silver medals and 1 bronze medal and 2 rings. I'm most proudest of this medal here, and it's engraved on the back. And this is the medal that I broke the American record up in New York. This is the medal for the 60 meters. This is the medal that I broke in the 100 meters, and I broke my foot. I probably should put a picture of the cast beside this. But these 2 medals are really, really precious. They all are. Because I don't take it for granted that what I do. I know I've been blessed. I've been blessed to be able to still do this at my age. I've been blessed with the right people to guide me in this. This week I'm leaving Thursday The same indoor competition that I ran in New York is being held in Louisville, Kentucky this year. So I'm going there to defend my American title and hopefully get the 200. I'll be in Louisville from the 9th to the 12th. The 24th, I leave for Poland to be on the USA Masters team for the world competition. Right now I'm ranked #1 in the United States in the 50, the 100, and the 200. And I'm ranked #2 in the 100 and #4. I think three and 4 were kind of really close in the 200. I'm looking forward to running with the other ladies for the 4x1 relay. Well, 4x2, because indoors is 4x2 relay. This year they're doing a mixed, where they're gonna do 2 females and 2 males. I would prefer to run on that one, but whatever the managers tell you, you do it, because it's with the United States Track and Field Association. As Connie was saying, they did name me Athlete of the Year. I was really overwhelmed. And I'm like, oh my God, and my niece is so nonchalant. She's like, well, duh, who else broke 2 American records? I'm like, I don't know. You know? Our track community is very, very inspiring. Like, you group of ladies here, you uplift each other, you motivate each other, you inspire each other. Keep doing what you're doing. I mean, I've been on a phenomenal journey. What running does for me, running is my thing. It's my outlet. I've had some traumas in my life, and every now and then it pops up. I didn't know how personal I would get with this.
You're in a safe space.
I'm a double rape survivor. Military trauma. I'm a domestic abuse survivor. I'm a relationship abuse survivor. I write. I'm afraid to put myself out there, but this journey has inspired me because I've spoken one other place. I have 26 years clean and recovery from drugs. And you guys have heard my story, but this is my story. It's entitled, Still I Push Through. I need glasses. It's the reality of turning 60. Growing up was very emotional and very toxic in the one-parent home with 3 siblings. I had to be the big sister parent, and I grew up very fast. Middle school was trying because I didn't fit in. I was considered an ugly duckling to my peers, but still I pushed through. High school was not too much different, except I got attacked mentally, physically, verbally, and emotionally by teachers and my peers. Still I pushed through. Track and field became my solace, my peace, and my joy. I went into the military and excelled through boot camp academically and physically, running track and field, winning 4 gold medals, representing the United States Marine Corps, and still I pushed through. I was raped in the Marine Corps with no one to turn to and nowhere to go, yet still I pushed through. I came into the real world only to be introduced to the world of drugs, modeling, fashion, the beautiful people. Still I pushed through. I got married to a man who ran me over with a car and left me for dead. Scraped from my forehead to my toes. The front side of my body was scathed from top to bottom. My knees were damaged. Doctors didn't know if I would be able to walk again, but still I pushed through. I woke up one day and had 3 little people in my home, not remembering where they came from. Still I pushed through. Bound by the emotions of trauma that I didn't know what I was suffering from, I was diagnosed at the Veterans Hospital with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Yet still, I pushed through. I slipped on the ice playing with my son and broke my left ankle. I have 7 pins and 2 plates and was told I would not be able to walk correctly, definitely not run, but still I pushed through. I tore my right meniscus dancing and was told I probably wouldn't be able to run at full capacity, but still I pushed through. Multiple emotionally and physically abusive relationships. I managed to stay clean and raise my children, and still I pushed through. Abusive relationship after abusive relationship after abusive relationship. I continued to run and still push through. I've won numerous gold medals from senior state competitions across the United States. I moved, and still I pushed through. 2017, I moved to Georgia, where I was introduced to a higher level of track and field, and still I pushed through. Minor injuries, changing coaches, and finding my way, still I pushed through. In 2022, after breaking 2 American records, I jumped in the air out of excitement and broke my right foot. Yet still, I pushed through. Today I stand before you. I am 61 years old. I have 26 years clean and recovery. I am a double rape survivor. I've survived multiple injuries. I am the 2022 Women's 60-Year-Old Athlete of the Year, named by the United States Track and Field Association for Masters Athletes. Takeoff Track Club named me 2022 Athlete of the Year for my perseverance, my commitment, and my passion for the sport. I'm the Women's 60-Year-Old American Indoor 60-meter record holder and the American Outdoor 100-meter record holder. In 2022, I ended the season ranked #1 in the United States in the 50, the 100, and the 200-meter sprints, and #2 in the world. And I'm not even finished yet because still I push through. Just want to thank you all for this opportunity. That's why I stopped looking at y'all.
Give it up to her, guys. Give it up.
We're here for this coalition of black coalition of air people. That's Atlanta. I love her. She lands us.
Aviation employees.
But if I'm anywhere in Florida, near Florida, she comes every week. My sister down there comes. My mom finally got to see me run after not seeing me since high school. She saw me last year when I broke the record, broke the outdoor record. And I ran again. I did run again in 2022, guys. I forgot to say that. I ran in a Florida meet. I won the 50, the 100, the 200, and ran a relay. My times were in hand, but you know, I was kind of scared. This one's in the stands, and I come up, she says, how's your foot? I'm like, okay. She's like, how do you feel? I'm like, okay. She said, what the hell, you slow up at the finish line for? She stays on you, so I really appreciate her. I love her. She's my biggest supporter, my biggest fan.
That's beautiful.
That's awesome. And I met Connie online, and she was so, I looked at her page, and I was like, wow, ooh, wow, And I said, oh, I want to go work out here. I'm like, ooh, an hour and a half. But she's been very supportive and very inspirational, and I watch you and I listen to you, and you are a part of my routine, because I watch what you do, and what you're doing with and for these ladies. And ladies, let me say this to you, because I have a couple ladies that I work with. You all showing up, I know it's helping her, because when my lady shows up, man, it really helps me, because some days I'm like, I don't want to run. He's going to make me do the hard workout today. I don't want to run. And then one of the ladies will call, I'm coming after your workout. I'm like, I'm not working out. What do you mean you're not working out? So that's my push.
Yeah.
But track and field is my passion, and it helps me in so many areas of my life. I don't know what thing I would be doing when the traumas come up, you know, when the feelings of less than come up, when a smell comes up, because there's many triggers. And a lot of times when I feel that trigger, my coach, the two coaches have gotten to know me so well. Like they're like sons. The coach I have now, he's an amazing young man. He's a pro athlete. He has the Takeoff Track Club. I show up at the banquet to support the kids. And he's giving this whole speech about this athlete. He says she comes to me and she's you know, I'm training her, and she's good, and I'm not paying attention, because you know, it's about the kids. They all were getting these awards, and he gave me a certificate and everything, you know, for participating in having national records and stuff. But I'm there for the kids. And I'm on my phone, and he says, and I hear him, but I don't hear him. He says, she decides to run indoors, so I say, we're gonna go to Birmingham and do these 2 meets. She's like, no, I wanna showcase at nationals. Like, who just shows up to nationals not running any indoor meets? But she did. And he's talking, I'm hearing him. Not only did she go, but she broke the record, and she did this, and I'm just looking, and I'm like, he says, then 2 months later, and I'm still on my phone, she goes to outdoors, and she wins the 50, and she wins the 100, then she breaks her foot. And I'm sitting there, and I'm loud, and I'm like, oh shit. He's got this beautiful award. And I just start crying like a freaking baby. And he he teases me, he says, Marines, really? And that was like so precious to me to find out that he didn't pick me, the kids picked me. They said, we need to pick an athlete of the year. And the kids said, Miss India. And I'm like, wow, but that's my passion. And I continue to do it. And I train with the kids. And I run with an 18-year-old, and she kicks my butt every time. But I make her work for that butt kick. Because we do 180s, like on the track, like start in the middle of the curve. She cannot mess with me on the curve. The first time we ran, it seemed like the whole stadium got quiet, and everybody's face was like, because I'm beating her on the curve, but when we hit that 100 straight, she just took off like a tornado. But I love it. I like the competition. Some days I'm not excited about the workout, but in order to get to the next level, you gotta put in the level before that, you know. Your health is, my saying is, your health is your wealth. Let's get rich, mind, body, spirit, emotionally, physically, and mentally. Do what you have to do to take care of yourself. And this is a great start.
So much. Before we get, I'm gonna ask for 5 more minutes of your time. I'm doing well with the time. Everybody say, kind of go on, girl. Go on, girl. 2 things. I had to say, one of my favorite words, and if you guys have not noticed, is excellence. I love the word excellence. Just do something to me. It just makes me want to perk up more, you know. So I had said to myself, when you come to Cash, we always want to leave our guest speakers with something to remind you of how special this place is, our AK Clubhouse. So I have this award for you, and I'm gonna read it out first. And it is called Passion for Fitness Woman of Excellence Award. And I give this to you, sweetheart, because I'm a person who believes there's no coincidence. And I have seen so many people on social media, but as I have heard your entire story, we have more in common than you ever know. So I think, as I always say to people, tribe, no tribe. And that's why I was connected to you. Tribe, no tribe. I cannot say that enough for you guys. You have to understand that. And when you know your tribe, stay around your tribe. So it's my honor and pleasure on the behalf of my passion crew, say yay, yay. Yay, yay. We give this woman of excellence to you, India Bridgette.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Oh,
You're so welcome.
I was not expecting this. Got it.
Before we, oh yes.
You don't stop.
Thank you. Now, I'm gonna say what she is too humble. Yes, take that with you in the card from us too. Thank you. Yes. I'm gonna say what she probably is too humble, is too kind to say, because when I ask her, and out of respect of people's time as a guest speaker, what can I do for us to we thank you for coming to visit us, your time coming from Marietta and all these things, and she said, really wasn't even asking, I asked, because I think that's the right thing to do. So guys, she mentioned earlier that she's going to Poland. Now, if you are in the Olympics and you are an athlete, or you may already know this, that many of our sponsorships are not there, so it has to come out of pocket. So she's taking her out of pocket expense to get to Poland. I'm gonna send each and every one of you guys in attendance. I already did one on the behalf of Passion for Fitness, but I want us to go over and beyond that. I'm gonna send the link. It's a GoFundMe that she has that support her going to her big trip to Poland. She's asked me to get to 5,000. We're gonna help her get there. We're gonna give what you can, and if it's not placed on your heart to give, then that's okay. But all I want you guys to know, the opportunity is there to give. And what other better way when she makes that finish line and win, we can say, we sponsor her. That being said, guys, you know kind of it would not be Passion for Fitness if we didn't leave or begin or end with a prayer. We definitely gonna pray leading out. Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to come together in fellowship. We thank you so much for this building right here that you have bestowed upon us as stewards, because it's all yours. We just taking care of it. I thank you for the fellowship here. I thank you for the no coincidence that we came in connection with each other, Father God. And as she has told her story, Her story is another testimony how great you are, how your Holy Spirit takes things that's a hot mess and make it into something beautiful. So everything that she has been through, God, I love seeing her scars because it's what makes us beautiful. So everything that she's been through, God, continue to cleanse her spirit of it. For she's a believer of you and she gives all the glory and the praise to you, God, so you will honor that. I pray for her in her journeys as she's continued to compete, that her mind, her body, and her spirit be uplifted, supported, and her allowed to be using your wisdom to get where she needs to be. And Father God, I pray for her family, her support system. I pray that you continue to keep her comforted, God, and continue to be blessed by blessing her. We say these things and we thank you for this opportunity in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
It's been a complete pleasure, guys. If you need to go, I totally understand. Feel free.